Once, upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping, tapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, "tapping at my chamber door. Merely this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in a bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Vainly I had sought the morrow, eagerly I wished to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here, forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor, entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping when so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I was surely scarce I heard you. Here wide I flung the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal has ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "No." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into my chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard that tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is someone at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. It is the wind, and nothing more." Open wide I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter in there stepped a stately raven from the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped nor stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door. Perched upon a placid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. Perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy unto smiling by the strange and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering on this nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on this night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled at this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though his answer little meaning, little relevance it bore. For we cannot help in agreeing that no living human being has ever yet been blessed with seeing bird upon his chamber door, bird or beast, upon a placid bust of Pallas just above his chamber door with such a name as Nevermore. And the raven, sitting lonely on that placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, until I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before, and on the morrow he will leave me as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled by the silence broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it mutters is his only stock in store, brought from some unhappy master whose unmerciful disaster followed fast, then followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the melancholy dirges of that sad song burden bore of never, nevermore." But this raven, still beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Once more on the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. Here I sat, engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing from the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. Here I sat, at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining, sudden thought of this divining as the lamplight gloated o'er. But whose velvet lining of the lamplight gloated o'er she shall pass nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed by an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "thy God hath lent thee, by the angels he hath sent thee, respite this kind nepenthe, and quaff thy memories of Lenore. O quaff this kind nepenthe, and respite thy memories of Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by the heaven that's stretched above us, by the God that we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp that rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by the heaven that's above us, by the God we both adore. Is there balm in Gilead? Tell me truly, I am poor." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Be that word our sign in parting, bird or fiend," I shrieked upstarting, "get thee back into the tempest and this nice Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of the lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beat from out thy heart, and take thy fault from off thy door." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on that placid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming casts his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted